This video shows the installation of the Falcon Series 2.1 JL Monotube Shocks. These shocks fit all models of the JL Wrangler and are available for stock and lifted ride heights. The rear shocks are longer with a roost guard, while the front shocks are shorter with an offset lower end eyelet. The JL-specific Falcon shocks utilize an offset extended sleeve to position the body away from the frame for maximum clearance. Lift the vehicle and remove the front tires. Remove the front shocks, but retain the factory hardware. Install the upper end of the Falcon shock with the extended offset sleeve on the inside and the Falcon logo facing out. Install the factory hardware and torque to 56 foot-pounds. On the lower end, orient the offset eyelet as shown. The offset eyelet allows clearance from the spring perch with increased caster. Use the factory hardware and tighten to 56 foot-pounds. Repeat these steps for the other side, then move to the rear and remove the tires. To access the upper end of the rear shocks, remove the lower section of the fender liner. Remove the rear shocks but retain the factory hardware. Install the upper end of the Falcon shock with the extended offset sleeve on the inside and the Falcon logo facing out. Use the factory hardware and torque to 56 foot-pounds. Orient the Falcon logo on the roost guard forward towards the axle. This orientation will best protect the shaft from flying rocks and other debris kicked up by the tires. Install the lower eyelet using the factory hardware and tighten to 56 foot-pounds. To better protect the lower end bolts from being damaged on the trail, we installed the bolts from the inside so they point out towards the tire. Reinstall the lower section of the fender liner. On some of the JLs we tested, we found that the added suspension droop would cause some gas tank skid plate to driveline interference. The contact wasn't severe, but any driveline contact should be addressed. When the right shock compresses and the left shock remains extended, the track bar arch pulls the axle to the right. With a factory setup, there is no issue, but when the Jeep is lifted and longer shocks are added, the track bar arch angle increases, causing the driveline to touch the gas tank skid plate. We added a track bar relocation bracket, but we found that contact could still occur with taller lifts and increased shock travel. The simplest way we found to correct clearance impediments is to reposition the fuel tank by pushing the tank as far away from the driveline as possible. This requires no additional parts and can be done without raising the vehicle off the ground. To make things a little easier, remove the TK skid plate. Loosen the 7 fuel tank mounting bolts and, utilizing the factory slotting in the gas tank skid plate, reposition the fuel tank to the extremes. A pry bar can work, but the most effective technique we tried is to use a ratchet strap and slide the tank over to the frame. You will only notice about a 1/4 inch shift, but with this minor adjustment, you will avoid driveline to skid plate contact. When you retighten the gas tank mounting bolts, be aware that 2 of the bolts should be tightened last, the frontmost bolt along the right side and the rear bolt on the left side. Reinstall the TK skid plate and you're good to go. It is important to check clearance before you go out on the trail. So if you have a ramp or a short wall or a big rock, then flex your Jeep out and check the clearance. This concludes the Falcon Series 2.1 JL Monotube Shock installation. To stay up to date with all Falcon Shocks products, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and thanks for watching.